In the early 80s, Atari ruled the arcade. Missile Command, Tempest, and Breakout. These were some of the giants of pixel perfection. But by the time the 90s rolled around, Atari had become, well, let's just call it retro before retro was cool. Entered the Atari Jaguar again, this time not trying to keep up with arcade ports from other companies, but digging into its own back catalog and saying, hey, what if we took our classic hits and gave them a glow-up? That was the idea behind the 2000 series, a batch of reimagined classics with new graphics, new gameplay, and a whole lot of mid-90s techno. Today, we're looking at 4 of them to see how they improved upon the arcade originals. Tempest 2000, Breakout 2000, Missile Command 3D, and even Defender 2000, which Atari licensed from Williams that made the original version. Each one is a blast from the past with a special Jaguar-era twist. So how do they stack up? Are they worthy successors or rebooted wrecks? Let's find out. Let's start with the one that everyone agrees on, Tempest 2000, a remake of the 1981 vector graphics tube shooter. Tempest 2000 is the kind of game that makes you forget that Jaguar ever had any problems. Designed by Jeff Minter, yes, the Jeff Minter of Lamasoft fame, this version takes the original concept of spinning around a 3D wireframe tube and cranks it up past 11. We're talking trippy visuals, eye-searing color bursts, enemies that explode into particle showers, and a techno soundtrack that really slaps. The gameplay is tight. Controls are fast, responsive, and the difficulty ramps up in that satisfying old-school way. You'll die often, but you'll want to get right back in. Sound and music? Phenomenal. It's one of the rare Jaguar games where the audio feels like it belongs on a CD system. The electronic soundtrack isn't just good for the Jaguar, it's good, period. This is the game that people say made the Jaguar worth owning, and yeah, they're not wrong. To keep things interesting, a couple new play modes were added, which extended the replay value and the fun variations of the original, including a 2-player dual mode, but for me, personally, weren't my thing. The main game itself is pretty much a masterpiece, so I found myself sinking all of my spare time into it with reckless abandon. If you really want to know how great this remaster is, check out my other video to get the full story. I'll drop a link in the description for you, so stick around for a while. Verdict? Tempest 2000 isn't just a good remake, it's a great game, period. It takes a beloved arcade classic and reinvents it for the 90s in the best possible way. Still, a must-play today, and a great reason to seek out a Jaguar for your retro gaming collection. Next up is Defender 2000, also developed by Lamasoft. A remake of the 1981 Defender by Williams, it was one of the most brutally difficult arcade games ever made. On the Jaguar, you'll also get 3 modes. Classic Defender, which is an emulation of the arcade original. Defender Plus, which is sort of a graphical and audio update. And Defender 2000, the full-blown reboot. Let's be honest, Classic mode is fine. Defender Plus looks like someone poured Skittles on the screen, but Defender 2000? It's a lot. New graphics, bigger explosions, bonus stages, warp gates, and so many power-ups. The screen starts to resemble a terrible accident caused by a confetti cannon. It's chaotic fun, but it's also kind of overwhelming. There's a sense that they threw everything into the mix without asking whether it all belonged there. The controls are fast and twitchy just like they should be. The sound effects are functional, the music is more background synth than the absolutely slamming techno glory heard in Tempest 2000. So the verdict? It's not bad. Defender 2000 is fun in short bursts, especially if you grew up with the original, but it tries to do a little too much all at once. But still, as an experiment in reviving an arcade classic, it's a decent success. And next up is Breakout 2000, which is a bit of an odd duck. The original Breakout was like Pong, but with colorful bricks. Breakout 2000 takes that premise and adds 3D visuals and perspective, power-ups in an arena that looks like Tron in a playground jungle gym had a 64-bit baby. There's a single-player mode where you clear levels of increasingly complex brick formations, and there's also 2-player versus mode that's like a competitive version of Arkanoid. And honestly, this is the best part of the game. Graphically, it kind of looks like mid-90s PC shareware, which isn't a knock. There's a nostalgic charm to the flat shaded 3D blocks and some cheesy effects. But what matters most is the gameplay, and Breakout 2000 delivers. With responsive controls and smooth animation, it's easy to get lost in this game. With its deceptively simple gameplay that anyone can pick up immediately and keep coming back for its habit-forming gameplay. What's my verdict? Breakout 2000 is fun. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it adds just enough to make it more than a tech demo. Two-player mode is where it really shines. Worth a play if you're a fan of the genre, or just want to see what neon bricks and great ball physics look like in 3D. Did I just say what great ball physics look like in 3D? Oh god. Last up, we have Missile Command 3D. As we've seen in the other games in the Atari 2000 series, it also tries 3 different takes on the same game. I remember thinking when this game was released that this would be the one game for the Jag that I wouldn't like at all. And then I played it and realized I was a proper idiot. Wow, this, my friends, is how you improve upon the original game for the better. Classic mode is a faithful rendition of the arcade original. 3D enhanced mode is the same arcade gameplay, but with new 3D graphics and audio. And virtual mode is a full 3D reinterpretation of the concept. The classic mode is solid, just what you'd expect. 3D enhanced mode looks better than you might think, with angular landscapes, perspective, and explosions that actually have depth. It adds polish, without changing what works. But the virtual mode is where things get weird, and pretty awesome if you ask me. Now you're in the city defending against incoming missiles from first-person turrets. The shift in perspective totally changes the feel. It's tense, immersive, and surprisingly smooth for a Jaguar title. The sound effects are basic but serviceable, and the real highlight here is the massive and epic boss battles. This title is even being prototyped to work with the Atari Jaguar VR headset, which was unfortunately cancelled. But can you imagine how massive of an improvement it would have been over the original arcade to play this in 3D VR back in the 90s? Final verdict? Missile Command 3D is the most ambitious of the 2000 series. All 3 modes bring something to the table, and the virtual mode in particular stands out as a creative powerhouse and reinterpretation of the original. It's not perfect, but it's fascinating, easily one of the Jaguar's most inventive titles. So what was the 2000 series really? A marketing gimmick? Maybe. But it was also Atari working to reinvent its legacy at a time when everything was shifting to polygons, CD-ROMs, and third-party mascots with attitude. And while the results might have been mixed, that's part of what makes these retro games interesting. Experimentation, creativity, and risk-taking, all on full display right here for you to experience. Tempest 2000 is a straight-up classic. Defender 2000 is a fun, but kind of messy remix. Breakout 2000 is low-key, and actually quite enjoyable, especially with the second player. And trust me, Missile Command 3D is ambitious and just downright epic. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look at the Jaguar's 2000 series, hit that like button, and subscribe for more retro goodness, and tell me in the comments, which of these reboots did you like best? Or should have Atari left well enough alone? And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified the moment I drop the Atari Jaguar vs. Arcade Part 3 coming out soon. Alright my friends, this is the Retro Gaming Boss signing out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.